and welcome to Rio's Positive POV. This is part 3 of 5 where I'm going to be showing you guys my entire Blu-ray collection. I'm going to start off by showing you 3 movies. We have Blade Runner The Final Cut, which is 4K definition. Had to have this one in 4K. This is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Harrison Ford, one of my all-time favourite movies, and you have to have it in 4K definition, right? Next we have the sequel, Blade Runner 2049, which is directed by Denis Villeneuve and stars Ryan Gosling. This movie is awesome. Again, 4K has to be because visually this is a stunning movie. Next we have Lee Chang-dong's Burning. I watched this for the first time the other day and was completely blown away by how magnificent this movie is. It's a very ambiguous tale. It is one which leaves a lot up to the viewer's interpretation, and this is an absolutely outstanding movie. I am on a massive South Korean cinema binge at the moment, and this is the best one I've seen so far. Absolutely outstanding movie. Burning. Had to have it in the collection. Next we have The Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. This movie is awesome. I am a huge fan of the performance from Phoenix. I thought it was absolutely magnificent. The movie is great. I am a big fan. I know that people are not the biggest cheerleaders for this movie, however I am a huge fan and I love the king of comedy references throughout the movie. Freaking awesome. Next we have Jurassic World. I for one am a fan of Jurassic World. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, not so much. Thought that movie was absolute garbage, but this one here was a decent entry. I am of course going to watch the 3rd movie and hopefully it's more like this one than the sequel. Next we have 3 movies. The trilogy, the John Wick trilogy. John Wick 1, which is by far my favourite of the bunch. Such a absolute beast movie. John Wick 2, which again, awesome. And then John Wick 3, Parabellum. Again, awesome. They seem to be getting a little bit more over the top as they go, which I'm not the massive fan of, but John Wick is just such a unreal character, and Keanu Reeves, who doesn't love that geezer. Next we have Jarhead, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. This is a freaking awesome movie. Love this movie. Jake is one of my favourite actors, and I think working today he is one of the best. This guy puts on some intense performances. Huge fan. Next we have Taika Waititi's Jojo Rabbit. This is an awesome movie, a movie which got better on a second viewing for me. It was up for multiple awards, was one of the most spoken about movies of that year, and I am a huge fan. I do, however, have to admit I prefer Taika's first works that he done. His last couple of movies haven't been as good as those in my eyes. However, Jojo Rabbit, quality movie. Next we have Jackie Brown, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, starring Pam Grier, Robert De Niro. This movie, Robert Foster in this movie is so sick as well. One of the most underrated movies, Tarantino's movie that doesn't get spoken about anywhere near enough. I love the whole vibe of this movie and the soundtrack, amazing. Next we have Jennifer's Body, which stars the absolute bombshell Megan Fox, written and directed by Diablo Cody. This is a freaking awesome movie, and one which I think people are starting to realise as the years go on how freaking good this movie actually is. Next we have Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass stars Aaron Taylor Johnson. This is one of my favourite comic book adaptations. It is so good. Violent as hell. Chloe Grace Moretz is in this, and she is an absolute little badass when she was in the movie. Again, it's so good. It is so good. Nicolas Cage as well. Jesus Christ. When that guy plays roles like this, he is a next level actor. Next we have Knives Out. Knives Out just shows what happens when you give Rian the creative freedom to make what he wants to make. I love this movie. This is one of my favourites from the year. Definitely a awesome movie, a murder mystery, and it is a murder mystery masterpiece. Yes, Ali Plum, it is indeed. Next we have Kong Skull Island. Again, this is my favourite movie out of the 4 in the Monsterverse. Love this movie. Again, you've got a awesome cast. Are there a couple stupid moments? Yes. Do I care? No. Next we have Kramer vs. Kramer. Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep. Both of them are utterly spellbinding in this movie. Meryl Streep is honestly just a godsend. She is one of the best actors that has ever stepped foot on a movie set. Absolutely outstanding. Next we have another trilogy. We have the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. Kung Fu Panda is my favourite animation series besides The Incredibles. So Kung Fu Panda 3, Kung Fu Panda 2, and then Kung Fu Panda. What an unbelievably awesome and wholesome trilogy. I am a huge fan. Inner peace. Now, next movie we have is Knowing. This is another Nicolas Cage movie. This is a movie which I actually haven't seen yet and has been in my collection for years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the side and I will watch this at some point this month. So The Knowing is the next movie. Just going to get another batch. 1 second. Next we have Kung Fu Hustle, a over-the-top movie, over-the-top to a next level. But I love these type of movies. I know these movies are stupid, but they know they're stupid, and that is when they get a pass from me, because this is a awesome movie. High definition. You have to watch this movie. A lot of arse is kicked in this movie. Next we have Killer Joe. Killer Joe is a awesome movie starring Matthew McConaughey and Emile Hirsch. This is a movie which I watched many years ago. Seen it on sale in HMV and thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. Awesome movie. Next we have a British classic. We have Kidulthood. If you haven't seen this movie, you have to check this movie out. This is London culture in a nutshell. Honestly, this movie is so good. Directed by Noel Clarke. Stars Adam Deacon and Noel Clarke himself, and this is a awesome movie. Also, the soundtrack is so good. It is so London. This soundtrack is a bit of me. Kidulthood, underrated British flick. Next we have Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. 2 Tarantino movies. I have spoken about these movies enough if you follow my channel. I am a huge Tarantino film. I'm a huge fan of the Japanese culture, so Kill Bill Volume 1 is just so good. And as you can see behind me, I have the Hattori Hanzo sword. So yes, I am a Kill Bill fan. Next we have Jean-Claude Van Damme's Kickboxer. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a hero, a childhood hero to me. Not only did he have a body that looked like he's carved from stone, he used to absolutely kick the shit out of people. And when I was growing up, I loved these kind of martial arts movies. Huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. And yeah, Kickboxer has to be in my collection. Next we have Kingsman, The Secret Service. The Kingsman is a awesome movie by Matthew Vaughn. Took me kind of by surprise. Samuel L. Jackson is in it and he plays a magnificent character, a very weird character, but this movie is awesome. It's not, again, to be taken too seriously. It is a fun thrill ride and I thoroughly enjoy it. Next we have Knocked Up, which stars Seth Rogen and Katherine Heigl. This is a funny movie. It has got a little bit worse for wear over the years with the jokes and stuff. However, at the time, Knocked Up, it was a funny movie. Next we have Limitless, Bradley Cooper's Limitless. This movie is awesome. There's actually a TV series on Amazon, which is a kind of a different version of this, and that is also good. But this movie was a fun, enjoyable movie. Next we have Leon the Professional. This is starring Jean Reno, and Gary Oldman is also in this, playing an absolute psychopath. I love Gary Oldman. I think he's an absolute beast. Absolute beast. Natalie Portman's also in it, and the fact she plays the role she does is pretty nuts. The acting is superb. Leon the Professional is one of my favourite movies of all time. Talking of favourites, favourite British movie is debatable for me, but Layer Cake is definitely in with a shout. Sienna Miller, absolute doll. Tom Hardy, one of his first roles in this movie. This is a absolutely banging movie. Next we have Leap Year, which again is another movie which I was given. I haven't watched this yet. I will get round to it when I have the time. Talking of British movies, we have Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. If you haven't seen Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, then you haven't seen British cinema. Guy Ritchie's debut movie is just fantastic. The dialogue is just so London again. There are a few movies that I would say you need to see if you want to understand what London is really like. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Kidulthood are two of them. Two movies that can show you exactly what London is really like. And now the final movie of this batch is Greta Gerwig's Little Women. This movie is so fucking amazing. The acting is superb, the directing is superb, the writing is superb. Everything about this movie is perfection. I am a huge fan. Greta's first two movies have been absolutely outstanding. Cannot wait to see what she does next. Back in a sec, get another batch. Back with another batch. First movie is a French movie, La Haine. This movie is so good. It is one of the best foreign language movies that I've ever seen. My foreign language movie viewing has not been as high as it should be. I'm currently correcting that, but La Haine still is one of the best foreign language movies I've seen. If you haven't seen this movie, most definitely check it out. Next we have Lone Survivor, which is a movie based on a true tale about these Navy SEALs in Afghanistan who basically were being attacked and needed to get out. Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch, Emile Hirsch and Ben Foster. One of Mark Wahlberg's better films for sure. Next we have Lincoln, which is the Abraham Lincoln biopic starring Daniel Day-Lewis, or as I like to call him, the best actor to ever step foot on a movie set. He won an Oscar for this and thoroughly deserved. That geezer can act the shit out of anything. Absolutely amazing movie. Next we have Legend. Legend is starring Tom Hardy playing the Kray twins. Again, if you know about British gangster culture, you know about the Kray twins. This is an awesome movie, especially the scene in the bar where they kick the living shit out of a couple of geezers. Legend, awesome movie. Tom Hardy is a beast. Next we have another Greta Gerwig movie. It is Ladybird starring Saoirse Ronan. This movie is awesome. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I'm a huge fan of Saoirse. I'm a huge fan of the mother in this as well. She was absolutely fantastic. Her performance, so good. This won 2 Golden Globes, Best Picture and Best Actress. Probably deserved both of those. Fantastic movie. You have to see it if you haven't already. Next we have Lawless, which stars Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf, Jessica Chastain and Jason Clarke. This is a really good movie set in the 1920s Prohibition era of America. Tom Hardy again is just an absolute beast in this. Quality film. In fact, I'm sure there's a knuckle duster in this one kicking the shit out of people. I think that may be becoming a trend with old Tom Hardy. Next we have one of the best comic book movies ever made. Yes, it is Logan starring Hugh Jackman. What a movie. What a movie. This movie really showed a different tone than what we are used to seeing with comic book movies, especially from the X-Men movies. It all went downhill for the X-Men after this movie. Everything since then has been pretty shit. But Logan, awesome, awesome movie. Next we have Rian Johnson's Looper. Again, this just shows what the man can do when he's given creative freedom and when he is making his own movie with his own visual ideas. Looper's a fantastic, fantastic movie. Not much more to say about that. I really enjoyed it. Stars Emily Blunt as well, one of my favourite actors working today. Absolute love that woman. Next we have Monty Python's Life of Brian. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I own Monty Python's Life of Brian. Why do I own this movie? Well, it is just the funniest movie ever made. It is the best comedy of all time. Monty Python, man. Them geezers are some hilarious dudes. The Immaculate Edition as well. Have to have Monty Python's Life of Brian. One of my top 5 movies ever made. It's just so good. If you haven't seen this movie, please, please, please go and check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's so, so funny. Next we have Law Abiding Citizen, a Gerard Butler movie. This is a shocking movie at times because it is terrible at times. But then there are a few moments in this movie where you're like, oh my god, that was so, so sick. So definitely check out Law Abiding Citizen. Next we have Logan Lucky. Look, this is an awesome movie and one which I didn't hear get spoken about at all. The only reason I bought this movie in the end was because of Adam Driver. Seen him in a couple of things and thought this geezer is so good. So went through his whole filmography and ended up buying Logan Lucky, and thank God I did because this is an awesome, awesome movie. Next we have Life. Life is a movie which I don't really like. I bought it because of the cast. Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson and Ryan Reynolds. I thought it was going to be something I was going to really like. It weren't that great. It was a very generic horror movie. It weren't that great. Next we have Ben Affleck's Live by Night. Ben Affleck is a great actor. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, he has had some blemishes. Yes, I'm looking at you, Daredevil. But yeah, man, he's a decent actor. And I actually like this movie. I am a fan. Next we have my personal favourite musical of all time, La La Land. I don't like musicals. I do like La La Land, however. It is visually magnificent and some of the transitions are so sexy. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Obviously Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, magnificent in the movie. And look at the cover, man. That cover is magnificent. Next we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy, aka the second best movie trilogy of all time behind The Godfather. Lord of the Rings, awesome. I'm actually going to do a rewatch of Lord of the Rings because I've seen a few people on Twitter watching it and I'm jealous because it is that good of a series. Cannot wait. Next we have another trilogy. It is the Matrix trilogy. Matrix 1, Matrix Reloaded, and Matrix Revolutions. The original Matrix by the Wachowski sisters is so sick. That movie, when I first watched it, yeah, it blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind how good that movie was. And I am very much in the idea that we are plugged into the Matrix. I know it's insane. It's insane. I am not a religious person, but there are certain things that the Matrix just blew my mind with that resonated with me. Matrix, one of my favourite movies. The 2 sequels, not so much. I feel like they messed with the mythology slightly a bit too much for me. Next we have Mississippi Burning, which is a movie which was absolutely adored by critics. Nominated for 6 Oscars, stars William Dafoe, Gene Hackman, and is basically a nuts film. I need to rewatch this because I haven't watched this in years. This is one of the movies that I bought on a 5 for £30 HMV. Next we have Menace to Society. If you don't know about Menace to Society, then you have got problems. This is such a sick movie. This is one of my favourite movies of all time, and is one which doesn't get spoken about enough, man. This movie is nuts. Nuts. Sick, sick. Next we have Mud. Mud is a decent movie starring Matthew McConaughey. Alright. I love the geezer, honestly. He's such a positive dude, and I will support any movie he's in. That is primarily the reason why I have Mud. Next we have Molly's Game, which is based on a true story. Jessica Chastain stars in the movie, as does Idris Elba. This is such a good movie. It is written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, who is one of the best writers ever. This movie is so bloody good. Jessica Chastain is an absolute bombshell as well. Next we have Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea. This movie brings me to tears every single time. Every single time I watch this movie, I'm in tears. I don't know why I watch it, to be honest. It is just too good to not watch though. It is so fucking good. Absolutely amazing movie. Next we have Man of Steel Superman. Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder. Rewatched this the other day. Holds up even better now than it did when I originally watched it. Great movie. Next we have Mad Max Fury Road, a movie which sits comfortably in my top 10 movies of all time. That scene with Charlize Theron when she's on the sand dunes, yeah? The emotion, the score, the visuals was just perfect. That may be my favourite moment in a movie of all time. That and the ear-cutting scene in Reservoir Dogs are probably two favourite scenes of mine for sure. Next we have Memento, Christopher Nolan's movie starring Guy Pearce. Nearly forgot his name for a minute. This is one of Nolan's first movies. It is an absolute mindfuck. Such a good movie, and you have to watch this multiple times to really understand the complexity of the movie. I am a huge fan. Now we have another Monty Python movie, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This is my fourth favourite comedy of all time. It is fantastic, man. These geezers, honestly, British legends. Next we have Mary, Queen of Scots, starring Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie. This is a fantastic movie, highlighted by two amazing performances from the two leads. Next we have Midsommar. This movie is nuts. Visually it's so good, it's so well made. It is a fucking amazing movie, honestly. When I watched this movie the first time in the cinema, I came out and me and my pal who we went to watch the movie with, the whole time home we were like, what the hell did we just watch? I couldn't tell if I loved it or absolutely hated it. It was such a weird viewing experience, and after watching it multiple times, it is indeed a love affair. Ari Aster, that geezer's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Next we have Make It Happen. Is that... I haven't seen this movie. This is one that was given to me. I will watch it. Next we have Moonlight. This is a beautiful film. If you haven't seen Moonlight, you have got problems. Look at the back. Nothing but 5 stars. A cinematic landmark, a flat out masterpiece, the work of a master movie maker, a film for the ages. This film, so good. The performances are absolutely just perfection. The story is such a beautiful tale, and honestly I am a huge fan of Moonlight, one of the best movies ever made. I am going to get another batch. Next batch we start with Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. This is a fantastic movie, as are all of Paul Thomas Anderson's. That geezer is such a magnificent filmmaker, and I can't wait to see every movie he ever makes, because it's going to be fantastic. Next we have $1 Million Baby. $1 Million Baby is a movie which never fails to bring a tear to my eye. Such an emotional movie, such a well-made movie. Hilary Swank's performance in this is one of my favourite performances ever on film. Next we have Mirror, Mirror, which is another movie which I was given, another movie which I haven't seen, another movie which I'm not that fussed about even watching. However, it's good to have movies like this in the collection, because one day I'm going to get bored of watching these absolute magnificent movies that I have, and I'm going to end up watching Mirror, Mirror. Next we have Brad Pitt's Moneyball, which is a just amazing movie. This is such a good movie. It is, I'm sure it is, give me 1 second. Yeah, Aaron Sorkin behind the screenplay. This is one of my all-time favourite sports movies. Brad Pitt is absolutely fantastic in this, as is Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill is a great actor, one of the best actors out at the moment, and he doesn't get enough praise for the work that he does. Next we have Miss Sloane, is another Jessica Chastain movie. If you don't like Jessica Chastain, then you have got problems. Not only is she absolutely beautiful, but she is a magnificent actress. This is a fantastic movie. Next we have some anime. My Hero Academia Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4 Part 1. I absolutely love My Hero Academia. It is my favourite anime. I love it even more than Dragon Ball Z, One Piece. I'm a huge fan of My Hero Academia plus Ultra. Next we have Natural Born Killers, which is a Woody Harrelson film, which is just so good. This is a amazing movie. Huge fan. Oliver Stone. Where's the writing? Hold on a minute. I'm sure it was written by... Yeah, the story's by Quentin Tarantino. All you need to know about that movie, go check it out. Next we have Never Back Down. Never Back Down is a mixed martial arts movie which stars Cam Gideonette and Amber Heard. This is a pretty shitty movie, but I really like it, if that makes sense. It's a good shit movie. Next we have Nocturnal Animals, which is the Tom Ford movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams. This movie is so sexy. The visual storytelling is just off the charts. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is so good in this as well. His performance is a beast. Next we have, talking of Aaron Taylor-Johnson, we have Nowhere Boy, the biopic of John Lennon. This is a magnificent movie. Kristen Scott Thomas is also in this, and she is amazing. I'm a big fan of biopics. I really like to know what makes these people tick, especially the ones who have made shit loads of money. Next we have another musical. I don't have that many musicals in my collection, but when the movie stars Daniel Day-Lewis, you have to have it. 9. This is a really good cast actually. Marion Cotillard, Penelope Cruz, Judi Dench, Fergie, Kate Hudson, Nicole Kidman and Sophia Loren. Damn, that is a sexy looking cast. 9. Next we have Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is a movie which I am so baffled Jake Gyllenhaal didn't get nominated for his performance, because his performance in this movie is fucking diabolically sick. So good. Gyllenhaal is sensational. Yes he is. And this movie is amazing. I'm a huge fan. Next we have a South Korean movie. This movie, I watched it again the other day going through the Vengeance trilogy. And this movie is awesome. Park Chan-wook is one of my favourite filmmakers, and I've only watched his movies for the first time over the last week or so. Apart from Oldboy, I have seen this many years ago. Yeah, You need to see this movie. Do not watch the Americanized version of it, please. The one starring Josh Brolin, because that is fucking trash. But Old Boy, that one there from Park Chan-wook, is an amazing movie. You have to watch it. Next we have Only the Brave, which is a movie about firefighters. This is a awesome cast. Josh Brolin, Miles Teller, Jeff Bridges, James Bradgell, Taylor Kitsch and Jennifer Connelly. Great film. Next we have Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is one of the, I think it's Tarantino's weakest film, in my opinion. It's only my opinion. And it's still a solid 8 out of 10. The scene, the moment from Brad Pitt drops acid is epicness. But before that, it was just a little bit lackluster for me. I didn't feel like enough was going on. Next we have Marlon Brando in On the Waterfront. One of the single greatest performances you will ever see from my second favourite actor of all time, Marlon Brando. On the Waterfront is just a magnificent movie. That I Could Have Been a Contender speech in the back of the car is just... that is acting. That is acting. That is acting. Next we have the Oceans trilogy. Oceans 11, Oceans 12 and Oceans 13. Light-hearted trilogy. It is a fun, enjoyable trilogy. Next we have Nicholas Winding Refn's Only God Forgives. This movie is awesome to look at. Visually, it is amazing. Story, script is a bit lackluster, but visually, amazing. Winding Refn has no problems with visuals. Visuals is not that geezer's problem. He does have a sick minder. I'm kind of worried about him in his personal life because his movies are absolutely nuts. Next we have Robert Rodriguez presents Predators. This is one of the sequels to Predators, not that great. I bought the Blu Ray to watch the movie, had to keep it in the collection. Now the Predator, which is amazing, is the Schwarzenegger original. Honestly, this movie is one of my favourite movies. Predator and Alien are two of my favourite monster movies. This is just fantastic. Fantastic. Next we have Point Break, starring Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. R.I.P. Patrick Swayze, what an absolute G. This is directed by Catherine Bigelow and is just an awesome, awesome movie. Again, do not watch the remake. The remake is absolute garbage. Next we have Johnny Depp in Public Enemies. This is a movie which I thoroughly enjoyed. I love those old school American gangster movies with the old Tommy guns and that. That is what this is. He plays John Dillinger, who is one of the most notorious criminals in American history. Next we have Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of suspense. The master of suspense. Psycho is an outstanding movie that blew me away the first time I watched it, and I am a massive, massive fan, not of Norman Bates however, but the movie and Alfred Hitchcock as a whole. Huge, huge fan. Next we have another Oliver Stone movie. It is Platoon. Platoon is again a thoroughly enjoyable war movie. William Dafoe is awesome in this. Some highlight scenes, some magnificent solo performances in this. I am a huge, huge fan of the war genre, and Platoon is one of my favourites in that genre. Next we have Paul. Is a movie starring Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. Not that great. It is not their best work. Next we have my favourite movie of all time, Pulp Fiction. Poster behind me, Blu Ray has to be in the collection. This just has everything for me. Visually it is amazing. Acting wise it is amazing. It is not a normal standard movie. The fact that it's 3 movies into one is just so good. The soundtrack is amazing. The performances are amazing. Everything about that movie is absolutely amazing. Next we have A Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is my one of the best watches that I have watched over the past few years. Celine Sciamma done such an amazing job. Again, a beautiful, beautiful movie. The cinematography is impeccable. The location scale on this movie deserves a raise because it is so freaking good. Again, a French movie, a great foreign language movie. I'm starting to really like the foreign language movies, and I believe there's so many rabbit holes I need to go down to find these movies like this, because I'm sure there are so many like this, and like the next movie, Parasite. Parasite is a amazing movie which got so much recognition. Again, I've been watching all of Bong's movies over the past week or so, trying to finish off his filmography, sorry, and honestly, absolutely amazing. Song Kang-ho stars in this movie, maybe one of my favourite actors. The movies I've seen him in the last couple of days have just been different level. Now, the final movie in this batch, part 3, is Seth Rogen and James Franco in Pineapple Express. There's nothing quite like rolling up a zoo, getting some snacks, and watching Pineapple Express. Thank you for watching part 3. I'll be back soon with part 4.